My call for questions from you and your help. Hi and welcome to episode 137 of the Photography Explained podcast. I'm your host Rick, and in each episode I will try to explain one photographic thing to you in plain English in less than 10 minutes-ish without the irrelevant details. What I tell you is based on my lifetime of photographic experience and not Google. No, definitely no Google in this one. Right, here is the answery bit. Well, as you will have gathered, I'm not explaining anything in this episode. I'm asking you to do two things which will help me to shape the podcast to better serve you and answer your questions. And this is why I created my podcast, to answer your questions, not mine. Firstly, please send me a question. When I started this podcast, it was always my hope that my listeners would send in questions for me to answer. That's not quite worked out as I planned, so I'm taking time in this episode to ask for your question, dear listener. Yes, you. There's a list of things that I was thinking of covering on the questions page, which you will find at photographyexplainedpodcast.com/questions. Now, I'm more than happy if you just check out that page and pick something off that list and let me know that this is something that you would like me to answer, and I'll do it. But if there's something else, just let me know. Just go to photographyexplainedpodcast.com/ask. And don't worry, no matter how unusual, difficult, or just plain obscure your question is, I will attempt to answer it in plain English in less than 10 minutes-ish without the irrelevant details. Ask me anything photography related, and I mean anything. Well, anything that won't affect my podcast clean rating, that is. And no, this episode is not an advert for my website. Far from it. It's just wholly relevant to what I'm talking about. And there's the survey. Yes, I've set up a survey with 9 multiple choice questions and a box at the end where you can tell me anything you want to. There's 2 boxes at the end where you can tell me anything you want to. And I haven't finished yet, so there might be more by the time I've done it. Just head over to the photographyexplainedpodcast.com/survey. Fill in the form and accept my sincere thanks for doing this. Like I keep on saying, I've created a podcast to help you as a photographer, dear listener. So it makes sense that I ask you and other listeners what you want me to do. You're the one listening to this after all, so it makes sense. So please, if you could spend a couple of minutes and complete the questions on my survey, I would be most grateful. Stick to the script, Rick. What's in it for you then? Well, ask me a question, and when I answer it, I will give you a big shout out in that episode. I'm also going to start a page where I will add listeners' names who've asked me questions, that I've answered that is, and which episodes the question appeared on. Yeah, I'm not doing that yet because it'll look a bit sad. When I get a decent number of names, so there's another incentive for you. But soon, hopefully, and I was thinking of calling it the Photography Explained Podcast Hall of Fame. Well, why not? And I'll also give you a link to your website if you have one, or your social media profile, whatever you want. So there is something in it for you as well. Not only do you get your question answered, you get your name out there in podcast land and also on the internet. Don't forget, my podcast has been downloaded in 95 countries, would you believe? That's 95 countries at the time of writing this. So join me in getting your name out there on this big old globe of ours that we find ourselves living on. All right, the talky bit, yes, there is a talky bit, would you believe? Well, I've got a blog where I write about photography stuff on a weekly basis. In my blog, I write about all aspects of building photography. That's what I do. That's my job. And I seem to have the ability to come up with an endless number of things to write about. You can check this lot out at rickmcavoyphotography.com. But the Photography Explained podcast is the place where I want to answer your questions. Sure, I can come up with an endless list of photography questions, which I'm more than happy to do. I mean, I love doing this, so it's not a problem, but it would be so much better for me and for you if I was answering your questions. This is what I'm all about, after all, and what I really love to do. See, when I have a listener question to answer, I have lots more work to do, but that's absolutely fine, as I'm doing what I want to do from the very beginning. And and it's a good job, isn't it? Because if I begrudged having to do more work to answer your questions when I've asked for your questions, there would be something fundamentally wrong with my plan, wouldn't there? I genuinely enjoy doing it. So, yeah, so I just thought I'd throw that one in there. No, that's not in the script. That's just me thinking, which is a dangerous thing, I know. And when I do answer a listener questions, my enjoyment levels go up massively. So you'll be helping me, and I'll be helping everybody else listening. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I think you get the point, so I'm going to stop waffling. One more thing I do want to point out is, though, Don't shoot me for saying this. There are 14 weeks until Christmas, would you believe? I need lots of listener questions to keep me going until then. And then, of course, I'm going to need some more for the new year. So please get your questions in. And if you got 2 questions, let's not stop at 2. If you got 3 questions, that's fine. I might not do them all at once, but whatever questions you got, just send them in to me. The more the merrier. Right, I'm done. And I really look forward to hearing from you. Okay, well, usually the next bit is what do I do? Well, what do I do? Well, I want what I want to do, not what I do, what I want to do. I want to answer your questions. Next episode is Photography Explained podcast episode 138. No idea. I've got no title, nothing planned. You tell me what episode 138 will be. Go on, dare you. Right then, let's move on. As I always say, if you have a photography question you would like me to answer, in plain English, in less than 10 minutes-ish, without the irrelevant details, just head over to photographyexplainedpodcast.com/start. You can also find out more about me and my podcast there, and also ways to help me, which is nice. Send me a question, just say hi, I don't mind. Just be great to hear from you. Well, this episode was powered by, wait for it, the same cheese and pickle sandwich, made by myself, open brackets, with a bag of ready salted crisps washed down with a lovely ice-cold Diet Pepsi, as the last episode was powered by, because having published one a week late, I'm now recording a week early, so that doesn't happen again. Sat here in my not-too-warm, homemade, acoustically cushioned recording emporium, with no gardening activities next door, because I'm recording on a different day. That worked, that fooled them. They didn't know I was recording today, so nope, no lawnmowers in the background. I haven't even heard a plane go over either, so that's all good. Right, I'm going to stop there. That's enough, isn't it? I've been Rick McAvoy. Thanks again very much for listening to my small but perfectly formed podcast, it says here, and for giving me considerably less than 10-ish minutes of your valuable time. Excellent, we've all saved time on this episode. And if you'd rather there were less than 10 minutes, let me know, or head over to the survey where there are more related questions. Take care. See, it looks like I've committed myself to doing that survey now, doesn't it? I think I got a bit ahead of myself there, but it's okay, I'll work it out. Take care, stay safe. Cheers from me, Rick.